First, there was COVID business restrictions. Then there was product shortages. And then there was the Great Resignation, and now high inflation. This means for the past 2 years now, you've been battling higher labor costs and higher cost of goods sold and a bunch of profit-robbing expenses such as gloves and third-party delivery apps. As an independent restaurant owner and the leader of your business, you need to make changes in order to make money. So how do you know what to change without a restaurant budget? I'm going to share that with you in 2 seconds. I'm David Scott Peters, restaurant expert, coach, and creator of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula. I've been coaching restaurant owners since 2003, and I'm really glad you're here to learn. Today, I want to talk about why a budget is critical to you making the money you deserve in your restaurant. Before I go into that, if you like tips and tricks like this, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and oh yeah, that bell so you're notified when my next video tip comes out. And for more tips and tricks for running a profitable restaurant or to hear restaurant owner success stories, make sure you tune into my podcast, Restaurant Prosperity Formula, found on all the popular podcasting services. Would it be an understatement if I were to say that it's never been harder to make money in the restaurant industry than it is today? If you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I believe with the rate that our industry has been raising prices over the last 2+ years to combat all the rising costs, we're starting to approach a scary time. A scary time where your guest looks at what on the plate and says, what I'm paying for it, it's no longer a value for that meal. So what do? Do you continue to raise your prices? Do you start cutting labor? Do you start cutting expenses? How aggressively do you start cutting? Should you focus all of your attention toward increasing sales volumes because sales cure all ills? How do you know what to change? What changes you should make without a restaurant budget? The short answer is you don't. A budget is critical to your success. Let me share with you my approach to budgeting when I'm working with one of my coaching members. Number one, we create a budget template. What we do is we grab your last 12 months profit and loss statement, and we create a template, what your sales were, sales mix, cost of goods sold, labor cost, expenses, fixed versus variable. And we say, if we operate the next 12 months the same way we did the last 12 months, here's how much money you're going to make or lose. And I want you to hold it like a dead rodent and go, ew, I want to do better. And that's where the budget comes in. Because right now, all we did was create a template that if we always do what we always did, we always get what we always got. So we've got to make change. Number two, before we go into creating a plan, we verify your numbers. We go line by line by line and say, is that accurate? Oh no, we changed our menu. The annual cost of goods sold is not right because 3 months ago we made this change. And we update the numbers, verify, 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 so that we know our starting point is as good as it can be. Number three, we start creating your plan for success. What systems are we going to put in place to achieve certain results? How fast will we achieve those results? How are we going to make changes in our business based on our location, our price point, our style of service, the quality of product we put out, our core values? That's so important. Number four, as we create this plan, we start looking right at your sales mix. Why is that important? I'm going to look at those sections that you sell a higher percentage versus a lower percentage to identify your biggest opportunities. So let's say in our example budget, this restaurant sells 85% of all sales as food sales, but wine sales is 1%. Where do you think you have the biggest opportunity to make an adjustment to your bottom line if you were able to control your food cost or your wine cost without even knowing what they are, whether they're high or not? 85 cents on every dollar it comes in is food sales. So our kitchen becomes our priority, just like that, by looking at your sales volumes. Number five, let's look at your cost of goods sold by category, by percent. What stands out to you? Because in an example I just gave you, if 85% of our sales are food sales, and I come in and I see my food cost is high, let's say it's running a 38%, well, I know this is my biggest opportunity to make positive change in my business. Right? I can identify that 85% of all my sales are food and my food cost is running dramatically high at 38%. I need to make change. And now we create our plan for success. So on month one, I'm going to implement systems such as the key item tracker to prevent theft, the waste tracker to stop dumbass mistakes, and my budgeting system for purchasing called the Restaurant Checkbook Guardian allows me to give up ordering without giving up my checkbook. Well, In month one, I put that in. I'm not going to lower my food costs to 38% any lower because I have to teach my managers how to use those systems. Month two, I can hold them accountable or answerable to those systems. And I know for a fact that we can make a 2 to 3 point drop in our food costs, guaranteed, because we're reducing theft, stopping dumbass mistakes, and ordering on a budget. So I know in month two, I go from 38% to 35%. But based on your budget, to make money, because our labor costs have started going up, we know that we need to re-engineer our menu to bring our food costs down. So now we start the recipe costing card process in month one, getting software, getting the data in. It's 40, 60, 100 plus man hours to get it done. Then we gather that data, what it costs to make, what we sell it for, and from our point of sale system, our product mix, and we create something, a file I call my menu profitability monitor. A spreadsheet that allows you to see exactly what your food cost is, yours, not some industry standard, some number you've read in a magazine article or saw somebody on YouTube talk about, what your food cost should be if there was no waste, no theft, no spoilage, perfect restaurant, which does not exist. But that's where you should be if we followed everything perfectly. Now that I have that data, I can go through a menu engineering call and decide what I'm raising the prices on, what I'm reducing portions on or changing products. I can decide what items to get rid of and where that customer goes, what new items I want to put on place in order to create a menu that might hit, say, a 26% food cost. Because that's what I have to do when I look at my budget in order for me to make money, because my labor cost is running higher. You get the picture? Step 6, we're going to look at labor by position. What stands out again? Maybe in this case, if I know my food cost is running 38% because it's 85% of my sales, it's my biggest opportunity. I usually find that my labor cost in my kitchen's outrageous. And let's say it's running at 15% just for line cooks, not including dishwashers or prep cooks. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, overall back of house labor, I'm shooting for 10 to 12% in most cases. Sometimes we bleed up to 13, 14, depending on the state you're in and what you're paying for your starting wages. Well, as we go through the budgeting process and I start to say we need to lower your labor costs, a lot of people go, oh my gosh, in my kitchen, you don't understand. We're short-staffed, we're this, we're that, the other. And then I do what I call a down and dirty dollars per labor hour worked calculation. And without going through all the math, you can look on my channel and look for dollars per labor hour worked or the labor efficiency finder. And by going through a down and dirty, just grabbing general numbers, I can tell you how many entrees per hour each cook is putting out in production. And we often discover 4, 6, 8 entrees an hour, and we need 16, 30 an hour. And so all of a sudden, I show you how inefficient you are and that you can bring your your labor costs down, but you might have to re-engineer your menu to reduce the number of items you have on there, how much prep is done, and so on. They're all connected. Step 7, now I'm looking at prime cost. My goal, if I do $850,000 a year more in sales, is a 55% prime cost or lower. If I do less than $850,000, I'm looking for a 60% prime cost. Where should your prime cost be? And now we look again at cost of goods sold and labor cost, and one can be higher, one can be lower, but you got 55 points or less. And that's critical to understand. Now, as I go through it, to give me an opportunity to hit that 55, I look at my big chunks. Total cost of goods sold. If I'm around 25%, I got a chance to make money. Total labor cost. If I hit about 30%, I got a chance to make money. 25 plus 30 is 55. Could I flip them? Yeah, I could run a 30% cost of goods sold, 25% labor cost. I'm there. You get the picture? Ultimately, 55% or under is my target I'm shooting for. And as I put the budget together, month after month after month, I start working towards that goal. I don't snap my fingers and tomorrow we're at a 55% prime cost. Budgets are critical for creating your plan for success. How you know what to change. Step 8, look at your operating expenses line by line by line. What stands out? What is it that truly stands out? And again, looking at a big sample, maybe I'm shooting for a 25% total operating costs. That's everything else from your rent, your utilities, uniforms, paper, janitorial, credit cards, marketing, everything else that's not food, beverage, or labor. So here's some examples of some line item targets I start to look at. I start looking at occupancy cost. What it costs for you to be in that building, rent, SBA loan, CAM charges, property taxes. And I'm shooting for 5 to 8% of sales. Unfortunately, for the last couple decades, many restaurants are now running 10 to 12%. And by the way, if it's fixed or variable, if it's a fixed expense, if every time I increase my sales, I bring that percentage down. But do I need to renegotiate my lease? Do I need to move? What do I need to do? Paper supplies. I look at that expense and go 1.5 to 2.5%. Well, we can start to look at that and go, well, did I put gloves in that? Did I put that in Janny or I put that in paper? And sometimes we're seeing restaurants losing 1 to 2 points of their bottom line just on gloves alone the last 2 years. Janitorial, 1 to 1.5 points. Credit card discount rate. Overall, in the budget, we look for like 2.2 and lower, maybe 2.4 on the high side. We start getting in the 1.9, 1.8 range. We start doing backflips of excitement because in the budget, that discount rate is based on total sales. That means cash sales are a part of it too. So it's going to be a lower number. Comps, last but not least, that I'll give you as an example is when I grew up in the restaurant industry, we started shooting for a 3.5 to 4% comp rate. That means for every dollar that comes in, we're willing to give up 4 cents. Well, that was generally still a chance for you to make money. And it is real money you're giving up. Today, with everything that's going on, most of my members are coming to me with comp or discount rates 2% and lower. We can no longer give away the shop. We have to be good stewards of every dollar it comes in. So creating a budget is creating your plan for success. What systems are you going to put in place? How quickly are you going to put in place? How are we going to achieve those numbers? As I go backwards and we did those recipe cards and we did the menu engineering, did that happen in month 4, 5, 6? And that's when we see the change in our bottom line. Now, if you were to ask my members what the most impactful thing they get out of my restaurant transformation intensive group coaching program, they would all, let me be clear, they would all to a person tell you that the budget process has a tremendous impact on their life and their business. Some would even say it's life-changing. So if you're looking to figure out how and what you should change in your operation to beat back all the financial challenges restaurant owners face today, you must have a budget. If you're tired of not being able to leave your restaurant because no one else knows how to run it, I want to make sure you know it doesn't have to be that way. You can leave your restaurant. It is possible to build a team of people who know how you want the restaurant to run with trained and responsible people in place. You can give yourself time away. What would you do if you had time away from your restaurant? Would you sleep better? Would your relationships improve? Would you feel more relaxed? These are all things you deserve to experience as a business owner. It's why we own our own businesses. If you would like to learn how to own a restaurant that doesn't depend on you to be successful, click the link in the description to watch a free video to learn exactly what you have to do. Also, be sure to subscribe to get my weekly tips and watch these 2 videos to get more information and guidance for running a successful restaurant.